My mom texted me today. You want to hear this? It was
Yeah,
about the podcast. She says, I was listening to one of your podcast episodes. Your verbal skills have always been very good, but they have improved significantly since you've started your podcast. You are a quick on-the-spot thinker. Your vocabulary has expanded. You use less non-word sheets, put in quotes. You read
Nice.
aloud really well. You seem to be more knowledgeable about everyday events. And to top it off, you have a great radio voice. You could be a radio or television announcer with all the things I mentioned above. She's like, I don't know Chad's previous level, but he has also improved since his first few podcasts. He has a great radio TV voice as well. He is patient and a respectful co-host. He compliments you very well with his knowledge. There are things he knows more about, and there are things you know about that are different than his. And she says, congrats, applause to both of you for your work you are doing on the podcast. My only suggestions, of course, here we go.
No swear.
Yeah.
Yes, I fucking do it. I fucking do it.
Don't curse so much and try to limit non-words like, etc. I love what you guys are doing.
Bro, can you read that as a shout out?
Maybe I'll just put it before a little intro clip before the pod.
Okay.
You're recording, so.
Oh yes, that just made my night, man.
I should have put. How about you give us a 5-star review and put it there?
Hello and welcome to the Untranslatable Podcast. We are here recording episode 106, Things That Other Countries Find Weird About the United States. So this episode, we will be getting into some of the interesting quirks and cultural oddities, I'm doing air quotes for those of you not watching on YouTube, of the United States. What is normal to one person can be viewed as very strange by another. So this will be a fun episode. We're looking forward to bringing you some things that foreigners may find weird that we do, say, eat, whatever, in the United States. We're looking forward to it. And my man who compliments all my random knowledge, my buddy Jared. What's going on, Jared?
One thing I find that people from outside of the United States are constantly asking me is, how is it that all Americans are so cool? How does the United States manage to consistently be the greatest country in the world? And I just say, listen, I don't know.
Slipping on gator
I
piss.
don't know. We just have a way about ourselves, and we just conduct ourselves as winners, much like we do here at the Untranslatable Podcast.
That's right.
But please, before we get into how much better we are than all of you, spread a little love. Follow us on Instagram, Untranslatable Podcast. Twitter, Untranslatable one, the number 1. I tweet there. I post episodes. I retweet stuff. I post songs of the pod, which will lead you to our Song of the Pod playlist. Well, actually, it leads you to the actual YouTube video. But those YouTube videos are on our Song of the Pod playlist. You can email us, untranslatablepodcast@gmail.com. Give us topic ideas, your favorite untranslatables, which are idioms, sayings, proverbs that don't really make any sense when you directly translate them, but have a interesting meaning in your own language or whatever language it is. Or you can go to our website, untranslatablepodcast.com, and that's where you can see some of the untranslatables I've said in the past, because I saved them all for some reason. And I thought, why not share them with the world so you can impress people at parties? Or really, spread a little love with those 5-star reviews. My mother was nice enough to spread a little love. And she sent me this long text about how Chad and I are improving. And if you listen to our podcast, you'll hear, because I put it as a little teaser before the episode. But you know what she could have done if she really liked us or the podcast was spread a little love, Lord, and done that in the form of a 5-star review on iTunes and or Stitcher. So thank you, Mom. But remember, spread a little love with 5-star reviews on iTunes and or Stitcher. And as Chad mentioned, we're on YouTube. You can see us there too.
Can I just say, I really hope you get a nasty text from your mom now being like, how dare you say that, I should be giving you 5-star. Although I get what you're saying as well, Jared. I see both sides of the fence here, but that's great.
I'm just using her as an example.
Right.
I'd still appreciate the nice comments, but let the world know how great we are.
Exactly.
Why keep it to yourself? If you're so proud of your son.
That's right. You better believe it. You better believe it.
So, well, first of all, how was your time with David? I enjoyed having him on last time.
It was fantastic. I actually not only met up with David, but had the fair fortune of running into two of my old students that studied abroad in Germany with me in 2015. Shout out to Kevin and Sarah.
Just coincidentally, or you knew they'd be there?
Kind of, yeah. So I was scrolling through my Insta on the bus on the way to Prague, and saw that Sarah had posted a photograph of her at the untranslatable at the astronomical clock. Soon to be untranslatable clock. We're working on that with people in Prague.
We got some sponsorships in the mix.
That's right.
It's like T-Mobile Stadium or something. It's now the untranslatable clock.
Exactly. And so I saw her picture, and then I messaged her immediately. I was like, "Oh my gosh, are you in Prague?" And she said, "Yeah, I'm here for I think it was for that day and leaving that morning." So we met up at one of my favorite places. Dave and I got some delicious wings at Beer Geek, because I'm going to be honest with you, I can get much better in quality and price Czech food in Chomutov than I can in Prague, in my opinion, at least.
That makes sense.
So I usually get more types of food in Prague that I can't find so easily here. So we got wings at Beer Geek, which is a great place. A little expensive, but good quality food, fantastic beer.
Czech expensive, though. Like, I wouldn't find it expensive, probably.
Yeah, probably not. You're right. But anyways, so we went there and they joined us, and that was great. And then I took them to another place, and we had my favorite, nakladení hermelín, or pickled hermelín. It's like pickled camembert cheese. Absolutely amazing. So that was great, and David and I had a wonderful time. I have to say, though, man, it was definitely emotional saying goodbye to him at the Metro, because it will probably be at least a year until I see him again. Sadly, maybe. Well, that's not true. I may meet up with him this summer when we're both stateside. So if we can make that happen, we'll maybe have another pod coming back with David as well, which would be great. He's such a fantastic guest to have on.
Пожалуйста.
And so that was great. Also, I was able to sell him my acoustic guitar that I had acquired here. So I'm very happy. It's in the hands of a friend who I know will enjoy it and really treasure it. And I hope he's enjoying playing it right now. So that was great. And then this week I've had a short week. I taught on Monday and on Tuesday, and now I am done.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Sour cream and Dunions, my man. So so that means no more lesson planning, no more waking up at 6:30 or 7, no more, it's weird. It just feels really weird.
So what are you doing for your last week? Just chilling?
Last week? Yeah. So tomorrow I'm going to the gym with a student and a friend of mine. Then we're going to go get lunch. On Thursday, I'll be jamming with one of my friends here and buying some gifts for a few people.
Thank you.
Yep, all for you, of course. Of course. And also on Friday, with a few of my friends, we'll have a little farewell party and probably go to a couple bars and stuff. And then on Saturday, I will be leaving for Prague. I'll probably leave around 3 on Saturday, get into Prague around 4:45, and then check into the hotel. So yeah, it's really crazy though, man. I had a farewell party yesterday, actually, at the town hall, which was pretty cool.
For you? The students put it on?
My colleagues put it on.
Oh, okay.
And so that was great. And I got to say, man, well, here, let me ask you. Do you think I cried, or do you think I held it together?
I don't think you cried. I think you bulged your eyes out like a child.
Well, my man, I don't know how I did it, but I held it together. Didn't cry. Came really, really close quite a few times. It was really awkward when they asked me to, well, everyone was about to leave, and then my mentor was kind of like, well, do you have anything to say? And I was like, I probably should. But, but I was like, I'm really emotional. I was like, you know what? All right, I'll say something. So it was super awkward. Like, it was one of those things where, like, you're talking, and then a couple times, like, my voice didn't crack, but, like, you kind of tell, like, I was holding it back.
Yeah, got a little shaky.
Yeah, it was, like, let me see if I can do it. Let me see if I'll try to put myself in the zone. Let's see. I didn't say anything, like, super, like, deep or anything, but I basically said, like, I'm really trying to put myself back in the Radnica right now. Maybe I need to go put my blazer and my khakis on. But anyway, so I basically said, I really want to thank all of you, and like a long pause like that. Like, really want to thank all of you for such a great and meaningful year. I really, and it was tough.
Was it like that, really?
Yeah, it was kind of choppy. Not gonna lie, it was kind of choppy. And I tell you what, dude, the funny thing was my mentor Ivana and then my colleague Bara, they prepared like a speech, thanking me for everything, and it really put into perspective. It's always different when you hear from other people in ways you've helped them, because for me, a lot of it isn't me necessarily trying to help, but just me being me. Like, there were many times where I would just sit in the office. I have the habit of calling it the cabinet because that's the Czech word. That's what they call it. Also makes me feel fancy, like sitting in my cabinet, like, kind of weird, but
like your chamber or something like
exactly,
that.
Exactly. But so basically, I realized that there have been so many times where I will be sitting there, and they'll ask me random questions about the U.S., about English, about whatever. And to me, it's just like, oh, yeah, like just quick question to answer, right? But, to them, like, at least according to what they said, they've really learned a lot from me. And I've learned a ton from them as well. And it really put things into perspective, which was great. And then the other crazy thing is, so at our school, you get like a report card, right? And I was given a report card. And you can talk some smack about me now because I'm going to get up and go grab it really quick. I meant to grab it beforehand, and obviously I went down the rabbit hole of YouTube and didn't do that. So I will be back in just a second. Hang tight.
While Chad is grabbing that report card, I have nothing mean to say. He's a great person. But tell him and me how great we are by giving us 5-star reviews on iTunes and Stitcher. Spread a little love.
All right. So have this nice blue folder with my school's like little insignia and stuff. Střední průmyslová škola a vyšší odborní škola Chomutov.
Škola school.
Yes, very good. Yeah, and I have to say, when I first came here, not that my pronunciation is perfect. It's nowhere near perfect.
Definitely
when
wasn't
I came
that
here,
good.
I couldn't even say this. So progress, baby steps.
Yeah.
So I got a couple things actually. This was really great. This is also what almost brought me to tears. So I took Czech lessons and gave English lessons to two of my colleagues, Dana and Lenka. And so they gave me this honorary certificate, which says, oh man, hopefully I can make it through this without getting too emotional. So it says, honorary certificate to Chad Alexander Bowsley for his courage and brave heart to start a long journey, survive, and come back. He was there and didn't lose his way in Czechia, didn't emigrate to Germany, didn't fall from the Charles Bridge in Prague, wasn't fed up with oplatki, which are the like wafer things from Karlovy Vary, didn't dwell to death from beer in Pilsen, wasn't exhausted on the way to Pravčická Brana, which was the gate that I went to in Czech Switzerland, didn't turn green. This is a funny pun right here. Didn't turn green from Zelena in Hradec Králové. Zelena is that minty drink I got you guys. So didn't turn green from Zelena, and Zelena is Czech for green. So very clever. Didn't burn when roasting špekáček, which is like these like Czech sausages you like roast over a fire. Wasn't struck dumb looking from Hněvín and Most, which is the castle there. Wasn't frightened by a birthday surprise celebration. And found his way home. And then it's signed from my colleagues. And they have it in Czech on the other side.
Oh, wow.
Which is pretty cool.
That's a good gift.
Should I attempt to read the check? Do you want me to fumble through this or no?
Sure.
All
I mean,
right.
we only have an hour and a half, but sure.
All right. So, Čestné uznání, which is honorary certificate. And this is the crazy thing about Czech. So you have different endings, right? So my name, so because of the ending here, so it's Čestné uznání Čedu Alexandru Bauslimu.
Sounds like Japanese or something.
I kid you not. Can you read that, Jared?
Yeah, I see it. Čadu Alexandru Bauslimu.
I'm not making this stuff up, people. Here we go. Ze statečnost a odvahu vydat se, přežít, vrátit se, byl tam a nastratil se v Čechách, neemigroval do Německa, nespadl ze Karlova mostu, nepřejedal ze karlovických oplátek, nepřepil ze piva v Pilzni, nepadl cestou na Pravčickou bránu, nezezelenal, that's like didn't turn green, nezezelenal ze zelené v Hradci Králové, nehořel při opekání špekáčku, neoněměl při polidu ze hněvnína, yeah, close enough, nezakal ze oslav se převkapením našel cestu domů. So there's the check. And I can tell you, when I first moved here, that would have been even worse. It wasn't great, but it would have been even worse. And
Hey,
I've
we don't
realized,
become polyglots overnight.
right? This is the thing that I've realized more and more, though, man. In a way, I'm really sad I'm leaving for my Czech sake because I'm really starting to understand stuff now.
Yeah.
Like when I was at the bar the other night, I was, just sitting at the bar by myself listening to conversations, and I got like 40% of it. It's not great, but when I came here, it would have been like 0% of it.
Right, you're just starting to get the hang of it.
Right, and I'm picking up like what the verbs are and stuff. But so this is just dropped it. This is the cool thing though. So I got this.
Chad's making a mess.
I am. I'm just all over the place, Jared.
60 yards away from the microphone and still talking.
Right. So this is the little credit card.
You
Credit
mean
card.
report card.
Yes, thank you. Report card. And so what's really cool about it is the cool thing about these templates is they handwrite the subjects. So I didn't
With their
take
fancy
any
European
subjects.
cursive.
Right. Which now I can read Czech handwriting. When I first came here, I couldn't. But what's funny is they gave me, all the different classes. And here are the classes. Friendliness, I got a 1, which here a 1 is an A. Helpfulness, got a 1. Smiling, got a 1. Should have been a 1+. Just saying. Witty, I got a 1, which I would have given myself a 2.
Mama
okay. Originality, 1. Okay, that's fair. Music, 1. Sport, I got a 2 in.
Ooh.
That's okay. That's all right.
Slipping on gator piss.
Could have been more.
Pissed.
Could have been more active. And then a beer though, I got a 1. Gastronomy, I got a 1, which I don't know if they just mean the food I like to eat because I did try a lot of stuff here. Traveling, a 1. Knowledge about Czech Republic, got a 1.
Parada.
Cooking, I got a 2.
Okay.
I told them, I was like, nope, this should be a 3 or probably a 4.
About to say,
This should
even
be a
that's a
C or a
little-
D. That's a stretch.
Slipping on gator piss.
Housework, also a 2, which my place needs to be clean, so I would say maybe a 3. And school attendance, 1. I think I was only missing. I think I missed school 3 days because of illness. I think that's
okay.
it.
It's not bad.
So that's not too bad for 10 months, 3 days. And there were a few other days where I traveled and stuff, but I would teach extra lessons otherwise. So that's what they gave me, and I gotta say, man, just the effort, the sheer effort they put into these things, was just so touching, and that's one of the reasons why I almost was in tears. And a student asked me, he came up to me after my, choking down my tears speech, and saying, I don't. I think he was just trying to lighten the mood, but he was like, I'm not sure if you're crying for joy or for sadness. Like, I don't know. A lot of Czech people, in my experience, tend to be very negative about the Czech Republic, and even with their humor. And so, but when he said that, I was just like, oh, damn, I knew it was going to be this obvious, But it was cool. And then the last thing, though, about Monday that I want to mention, you are not the only cultured one out of the two of us to go to music concerts. I went to my good friend Pavel. I went to his daughter's piano recital. And it was all the young kids from the music school. And I would guess they were aged probably 6 or 7 all the way up to 13 or 14. There was one kid that was 13 that played a Chopin piece that just killed it. Nice. Absolutely killed it. Also had a purple suit on, so was killing it in the style department as well. Dude was ready to go. So that was really awesome as well. I really enjoyed it. What was interesting, though, is the only boys they had there were 3 boys. The rest were all girls. And the boys were all older, which I found interesting. And I wonder why girls are starting sooner on piano than a lot of boys are.
Yeah, I don't know.
And maybe they're not, but that's what I saw in my small sample size here.
Right, that's a good point.
Right.
Speaking of piano, I think tomorrow might be my last lesson here in Philadelphia.
Oh, how do you feel about that?
It's sad just because I had a pretty good relationship with my teacher, but also she just got a new grand piano or baby grand piano, so I get to play it once, so that'll be cool.
Okay.
Yeah, it's sad just because we had a good rapport and she seems to really like me, and like I enjoyed having her as a teacher. But I think what I told her, and I wasn't just saying this, but like because I had such a good experience learning piano over the past, say, 3 years with her, like I'm definitely going to keep it up. And when I get back to Michigan, like once I'm settled, that'll be one of the first things I'm looking for as a new piano teacher. And so I tried to tell her that I appreciate all the stuff that she's done, and it's really made me want to keep it up. And she actually texted me the other day saying that she has a quote-unquote special offer for me, whatever that means. Well, I know what it means. I'll tell you what it means. She has some friend that's an artist, and she wants to draw a picture of, paint a picture of like a student and a teacher. So she's going to come to our lesson tomorrow and take pictures of us.
Oh, cool.
Playing and then paint the picture. So we'll see how that goes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But it'll be a little bittersweet. And she might be fighting back tears like you are. I'm a little bit more cold on the inside, like some of your Czech counterparts. So it's easier for me probably to hold that back. But she's very emotional. And it'll be an interesting last lesson. But I am excited to continue on. And I believe you mentioned that you have some connections that you might be able to put me in contact with.
Oh, you better believe it.
So I'll be coming to you for that off mic sometime soon.
Sounds good. Yeah, I got to say, though, the last thing before we get into the shout-outs, I'm also surprised, though, I held it together in all of my lessons. Which I thought, I don't know. I was super paranoid, and maybe this is just the way society tells men to be, or maybe I'm just stupid. Who knows? But, I feel like...
Probably both.
Crying in public, to me, it makes me really uncomfortable. It makes me uncomfortable to cry at funerals when it's a family member that I've been close with, and I'm with other family members.
Right.
Which it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Crying is a natural part of life. I mean... Honestly, man, I know this is really cheesy, but we've already topped the charts on cheesiness. I think this episode already, and we're only 25 minutes in.
Right.
I cried tears of joy when I found out I got the Fulbright. I kid you not.
Because
I worked so hard on that application, hours and hours and hours. Because the way you had to write it, everything had to be perfect. Like you had one page to apply, to write your essay. So every word was very meticulously thought out when I was writing it. I really put a lot of time into it. And I also knew I'm going to the Czech Republic. We're an amazing opportunity. And so I remember calling my mom and I remember looking at the email saying, congratulations, you've been granted a Fulbright. And I remember calling my mom And that's when it really hit me, like, oh my God, this is really happening. And my mom like picks up, she's like, hello, and I'm like, hello, and she's like, what? She's like, oh no, what's wrong? And all I could muster out was, I got it. And she was like, you got what? Like, she, my
Herpes.
poor mom was like, what's wrong with you? What's going on? Like, I don't know, yeah, I'm not even gonna go there. But anyways, she was like, you got what? And I'm like, I got the Fulbright, and so
Yeah.
So it's been a wild ride, man, and I'm very thankful. And now I think it's time. A good way for us to spread thanks is to
spread a little love. I'm with you. I don't have any shout-outs. I actually had a funny story about something that happened, but we'll get to it later. I'll tell you later.
Sounds good. I have a few shout-outs. My first one goes out to all of the Germans who are living in Ostritz. And now, well, let me rephrase. All of the locals living there. So this is a crazy story, Jared. So there was a alt-right neo-Nazi music festival near Ostritz, right?
Okay.
And so the German government basically said, well, this seems like this could potentially get aggressive, so we're putting an alcohol ban on the festival. So alcohol cannot be bought, cannot be sold. German police confiscated people's alcohol that they brought with them.
So it's serious if the Germans are taking away alcohol.
Yeah. So first of all, the German police confiscated, take a guess how many liters of beer they confiscated.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
4,200.
Damn.
4,200. But the story gets better, Jared. I'm not even going to say the name of the festival. It's not important. We do not support Nazis of any kind on this podcast, so it's not even, I'm not going to waste my breath.
Not even grammar Nazis.
No, not even grammar Nazis. So what's crazy, though, is that, so what people did is they realized, well, if we can't buy beer here, we'll just go to the next town over and buy beer, right? Or the next city on the way. So the surrounding town, it was Ostritz. So Ostritz, actually, all the local people there went to all the supermarkets and bought all the beer.
That's hilarious.
All of it. There is no cooler way to say F you to Nazis than ruining their party by buying all the alcohol so they can't buy any of it. Which I think is such a hilarious and kind of a German way to do things. Like, oh, yes, the Nazis are coming here, but we don't like them. We don't want them to have a good time. We just take all the beer. We buy it all. They can
have our own
beer.
party.
Exactly. So I think that's great. So shout out to everybody in Ostritz.
You betcha.
Who was a part of this. And I hope that people soon come to realize that neo-Nazis are not welcome. So that's absolutely great. So shout out to all the locals there. My next one goes out to an amazing pupper named Frida, who was a rescue dog who now has a statue.
What the hell is that?
A dog.
Yeah, okay.
A dog. That's internet slang, Jared, for dog, if you didn't know. Doggo or pupper.
I know doggo. That's what Australians say.
Right. And so Frida, the rescue dog who became a symbol of hope after the deadly Mexico earthquake, has retired. So, shout out to Frida and her handler.
What do you mean retired?
She's not going to be a rescue dog anymore.
Oh, I got you.
She's 10 years old. And I also want to spread the love to all the good boys and girls out there that have helped save lives in, there were a lot of dogs that helped save lives in 9/11. There have been all sorts of different things where, dogs have been really useful and helpful. Obviously, I'm also missing my dog a little bit, so this is one of the reasons why I want to give all the dogs out there all the love. So yes. So shout out to Frida, and thank you for your service as a rescue dog. And my last one goes out to a young gentleman, age 13, named Michael Platt, who is a guy who lives in Washington, D.C., started his own bakery called Michael's Desserts. And what they do is they donate. Basically, they have a one-to-one donation model. For every cupcake sold, he donates one to the homeless. So he makes donation batches about once a month. So it's really amazing that he not only is 13 years old and has his own business, Also, dude, just Jared, do me a favor. Go on Instagram right now. Check out Michael's Desserts.
I'm on his Facebook right now.
Oh, it looks fantastic.
Damn, son.
Fantastic.
That's the one with the strawberry on top?
Yep. Oh man, you better believe it, right? So I think it's amazing that he is so young and already doing this. It's amazing, and the fact that he is giving back to the community is also something that is highly commendable. We really appreciate all the work you're doing, Michael. Keep up the great work, and you deserve all the love. So thank you.
Yeah, for sure. And I love that, I love the idea of, using something that is like a hobby of yours and turning it into something that can help other people. Mm-hmm. Because it's I'm sure he was enjoying doing that before he thought of, he thought of helping homeless people. And it's I can also do this. And I'm still doing what I love.
Absolutely.
And he can make a real business. I mean, it's a real business now, but he could, if he plays his cards right, this could be his job when he's out of school and stuff.
For sure. Well, Jared, speaking of jobs, you know what job is? Our job is here at the Untranslatable Podcast.
My primary job is to spread untranslatables to the world.
That's right.
I will not take a day off from doing this. My first one is Arabic, and it is Labes el busa taba arusa, and it means dressing up a stick turns it into a doll.
One more time.
Dressing up a stick turns it into a doll.
Dressing up a stick turns it into a doll?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. This sounds a lot like you can't put a lip... This sounds like the opposite of you can't put a lipstick on a pig.
I'll give it to you. Yeah.
All right.
Essentially means anyone can look good with the right clothes.
Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
It kind of sounds like it's kind of, at least the English translation, it kind of makes it sound like a backhanded compliment a little bit.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah. I don't know if that's something you'd say as a compliment or yeah, they have nice clothes, but anyone, take those clothes off and you're still a go. A go, another Australian, something Australians would say.
All the Aussie terms today. I like it, mate. Oh, that is great. All right, so this one, Jared, is very... it's pretty obvious. It's Czech. It will be very obvious, but it doesn't matter. It's my untranslatable, and I think it's very applicable to what we've been talking about today, which is ma slizí na krajíčku, which means he or she is on the verge of tears.
Yeah, that does seem very fitting. Chad is on the verge of tears for the first 30 minutes of this episode. Yeah, it just means you're about to cry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice and easy. That one was maybe too easy, but yeah.
That's okay. I got some ones that'll really challenge us here. Well, you, because I have the answer written right now.
Right.
My next one is Turkish, and it's kafayı usutu. Yeah, kafayı usutu.
Which means?
They've caught a cold in their head.
Oh, so is this if you're a hypochondriac where basically it's all mental?
Oh,
it's
interesting.
Only mental.
No. I for some reason I can imagine a British person saying this.
Right. You got a cold in your head, mate.
Yeah.
It always goes Australian. It always goes Australian.
I mean, British people say mate too.
That is true.
I don't know how Australians got that to be their thing. Because I've heard plenty of British people say mate.
Right. Me too. Got a cold in your head.
Got a cold in your head, mate.
I have no idea. I have no idea what.
Well, maybe a British person would say, "You're sick in your head, mate."
Oh, so okay. So you're just mentally unstable.
Yeah. You're mental. They say that too. Now I think about it.
You're mad.
Yeah, it just means you've gone crazy. It's you have your brain is sick. Essentially.
Your brain's sick. Okay, insane in the membrane. All right. I got it.
Exactly.
I got it. Okay. All right. So let's see here. I have a couple. So this one is mash slovo or mate slovo if you want to be formal, which means you have the word.
You have the word. Is it like you're right?
Nope.
Or I agree?
Nope.
You have the word. It's like now you're speaking my language, or like preaching to the choir.
Nope. I think it's more simple than that. You have the word. We say you have the.
Do you have the floor?
Yes. Good job. Good
okay.
job.
That's what I thought, but that seemed maybe. Yeah. Okay. It just means like it's your turn to speak.
Yep.
Okay. I have one more, and it's Spanish, specifically Argentina.
Argentina.
And it's estar al pedo or estar en pedo. Either one. You should know that. Estar.
It is a dog? No.
No, pedo, not pedo.
What's pedo?
Podiatrist works on.
So yeah. Oh, okay. So it is. Or to be a foot doctor. To be a foot doctor.
Well, not a foot doctor.
Or
I'm just pedo is not foot doctor.
It's foot. It's foot.
I just said podiatrist. So you.
Gotcha. Okay. To be a foot.
Yeah. No. Excuse me. I totally fucked.
I'm so confused.
I totally messed that up. I just realized. I don't know why I thought it was foot. That's my bad. Slipping on gator piss. I take all of that back. Don't listen to anything I just said. I wish I could cut this out, but I'm not going to. It actually is. Oh my god! It's actually to be the fart or to be in the fart. I don't know where I got foot from.
I don't know either.
That's my bad.
To be the fart.
Yeah.
It's not like we say you're the shit, is it?
No.
Okay.
Think about like for the sake of trying to understand this untranslatable. Let's focus on to be in the fart.
You're like right where the chaos happened.
No. I see where you're coming from though. Think about being in your own fart. So it's like you're sitting on the sofa, and you're in your own fart.
I don't even know where to begin with this one, Jared. I give up. What is it?
It's to be lazy or not doing anything. So it's essentially like you're sitting in your own filth,
okay.
kind of.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking that, but I didn't think that was right. Okay. Interesting.
Go with your gut, young
Interesting.
Padawan.
Okay. All right. Well, I have two more. I'm just flexing with my check on you right now, Jared. So I'm going to give you two more check ones.
You got. We probably have another episode before you leave. Easy there. Chad.
Don't worry. I got more. So this one is Sprawnie slovo, which means sensible word.
Sensible word.
Sensible word. If you translate it literally.
Is it like soft spoken?
No.
Or very like deliberate, sensible word. Polite?
Like I would say out of if we look at our friends, I would say that you and me, I would say actually you have more of the sensible word than I do most of the time.
Oh, like logical?
Yeah, sensible opinion or voice of reason.
Oh, okay, I'll take it. Thank you. I don't even know. I was looking at my soundboard. I was like, I don't even know what to press for that.
Right. All right, and then my last one for you is also check, and it is, this one should be easy for you, I think. Skopi na slovo, meaning short on words.
Oh, it's like someone of few words, someone that doesn't talk a lot. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Good work.
I'm usually short on words when we go places. You know who's not short on words?
Who's that?
The Americans tend to not be short on words.
That is true. We love to talk. Mm-hmm. And that brings me to, I think, one of the first things that many non-Americans will find weird about the U.S. is our levels of small talk and also our greeting when we say, hi, how are you? I've explained to so many students, if an American says, hi, how are you? Unless they really stop you and say, like, how are you? Like, are things going good? If they really seem like they want to have a conversation, then they really care how you are. But usually it's more just like a hi, a hey.
Yeah. I guess they don't really do that in other countries. They would just say hello.
Yeah. Yep.
And if
it
they
took
say
me
like,
a while.
"How are you?" You'd actually have like they'd expect good
Exactly.
or something.
Exactly. Like I remember
Because people
going
here
to,
say like, "Hi, how are you?" Then "Hi, how are you?" right back.
exactly. Well, I even have some friends who would say like, "What's up?" You know, and walking by, and I would answer with "What's up?" You know.
Yeah, that's very true.
So yeah, it is really funny. And the other thing too is when I went to Germany for the first time, I was always saying "Hallo, wie geht's?" and Germans were like I don't know you. Why? Yeah, like yeah. So
Don't worry
completely
about it.
different. So that's definitely one thing. And I think the level of small talk we have here in the States is pretty wild. I mean, especially we've seen, I think, one of the masters of small talk in action, Mr. Donald. He is great at small talk.
That's right.
It's unreal.
Not the president.
Yeah, no.
Let's just be clear.
No.
Yeah, no. Don can small talk his way into any situation, but he somehow makes it work when he travels too. Like he seemed to use that to his advantage during his European travels too, which I think it seems even more difficult than here, because here it seems almost expected in certain places.
Right.
And I'm with the Europeans. I don't like it. Leave me alone.
I'm not surprised by that whatsoever, Jared.
Another one I found interesting that I guess I never really thought about was the level of drive-thrus that we have here.
Oh, it's crazy.
We are a drive-through heavy country.
We are a drive-through nation, hands down. I mean,
Yeah.
you should see the look on people's faces when I tell them I used to work at a pharmacy and we had a drive-through window. Mm-hmm. You know, and the worst was working the drive-through window in the winter.
Oh, I can imagine that.
Oh, man, it was terrible. It was terrible. And the thing is, like, the other crazy thing with drive-through windows is at a pharmacy. So for our non-U.S. listeners out there, when I use the term pharmacy, a U.S. pharmacy is like a
store
pharmacy, but also has like here they would call it like an apotheca would be an actual pharmacy with medication, right? And then a drogerie would be with like other like foods and snacks and other stuff like that, you know,
Right.
Toiletries,
We put those together
what have you.
because we're
exactly, exactly. Which that might be another thing that foreigners might find weird. Is I do have to say that I think in America, convenience is king, and there are so many stores you can go to, and you can find everything you need. You can go. It's a one-stop shop. You don't really have that as much in Europe. But anyways, back to the pharmacy thing. My friends and colleagues here could not believe that, yeah, we have drive-through pharmacies. And we used to have patients come get their medicine, and then they'd be like, hey, can you go grab a six-pack of beer from the cooler? Eventually, we had to stop doing that. But in the beginning,
that's just the irony of getting medicine and then asking for beer at the same time.
Right. Like, you can't just walk in the store and get your beer. Like, really?
Right. And there's just like this sort of illusion of always being in a rush or always not having enough time here.
Yep.
Like, I think that's a very American thing, is to always talk about how busy you are, or always talk about, like, not having enough time and all that stuff. And, yeah, I mean, there's a drive-through for just about everything these days. In Louisiana, they have, you know, I mentioned when I was there for my sister's wedding, I mentioned the daiquiris and how that's, like, a big thing in Louisiana. And the one I go to isn't a drive-through, but a lot of them, there are drive-through daiquiri places. And for those of you that don't know, daiquiri is like an alcoholic smoothie, essentially. Or icy, I guess. And so it seems very odd that they have that in a drive-through fashion. Granted, they say it's in a styrofoam cup, because once again, Americans love styrofoam. And it has a top on it. And if they don't put the straw in it, then it's technically not an open container. So they're just like, hey, don't put that straw in there until you get home. But that's also a drive-through.
That's so crazy. That blows my mind.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Even me that likes the convenience of it and won't drink it while I'm driving is still like, I don't think you should be doing this.
Right. Yeah. To me, it would just feel a little off. And that's the other thing that I think a lot of non-U.S. citizens would find weird about the States is just the fact that we drive everywhere most of the time, right? I mean, if you live in a big city, you might be fortunate enough to not need a car or not want a car. But if you don't live in one of those bigger cities that has good public transportation, you can forget it. I mean, just straight up forget it. I've told students that are thinking about doing a trip to the States, Either go to big cities and use public transit, or save up some more money and rent a car. Because, I mean, your life will be so much more convenient if you rent a car. Because everything in the U.S. is so spread out. And we're not used to walking everywhere. And our infrastructure is designed around cars for the most part.
Yeah. Well, I was talking to you about having to go back to Michigan this weekend to find a place to live. And I was considering flying there. But the thing is, that adds so much to my budget because I also have to rent a car. So it's like it's almost more worth it for me to just or more practical for me to just drive like essentially 8.5, 9 hours to Michigan rather than flying there, because it's like, yeah, but once I'm there, like it's more convenient to get there maybe, but I still have to pay so much more to rent a car and then to get a hotel or an Airbnb or whatever, and it's just like it just adds up so quickly.
Right.
And it's you have to. And actually, speaking of that, something that a lot of people outside of the U.S. can't comprehend is the size of our roads. We have so much space on our roads and parking lots. I remember living in Europe, and my parents had like they didn't have big cars, but they had like a 5 Series, BMW 5 Series, so like a middle of the road BMW, and like it was like parking in certain underground parking lots or parking on the street.
Oh, forget it.
Was a challenge. It was definitely a challenge. And some of those underground parking structures are insane how tight they are. And like even if you have like a small compact car, you're still squeezing through there, and it's very uncomfortable. And I remember when I was in Italy, you could not like every other car was dented or dinged or scratched just because how tight everything was. And like you couldn't get away with having like a clean car in like Rome or something like that. It's almost impossible.
Right. And once again, I think that goes back to infrastructure. In the States, we've had, cars ever since these car companies, you would know what year. What year did the automobile really become like everybody could get one, or most people could get one?
Probably the Model T, which was like the 19 teens, maybe 16, 17.
Okay.
Was it maybe when the first Model T came out, somewhere around there?
And I'm sure there were cities that were still being heavily developed around that time as well, right?
Yeah. I bet you cars probably didn't get like more commonplace until probably like the 20s, 30s.
Right.
But probably 20s. But it was like the Model T was a thing in like the teens.
Right.
So that's probably when and that's how it was like the first quote unquote cheap car, so.
Right.
Yeah. And ever since then it was just like make our cities for cars specifically. Yeah. And now in some cities like Detroit, they're trying to like retroactively figure out like public transportation there.
It's difficult to do.
Yeah, it's difficult to do, especially now that everyone's so comfortable with their car. So it's like for the transportation to work, it's like it's got to be real good or real like somehow, I don't even know how, but like people are just so comfortable with their cars nowadays.
Right. And that's the other thing, too, is it's just crazy the amount of space, for the most part, that we have in the States, right? Unless you are once again, if you're in a heavy populated city, this won't be the case. But, I mean, even your smaller cities, there's a lot of space. Like, it's crazy. I always forget how big the U.S. is until I've been outside the U.S. for a little while and I come back, right? Like, I remember telling some of my students, it's not that uncommon to drive 30, 40 minutes to see your friends, right?
Yeah, right.
I mean, for us to jam, you or me will have to drive, probably 30, 40, 45 minutes one way. Whereas here, if I were to drive somewhere for 30, 40 minutes, I'm in Germany.
Right.
If I drove maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours, I could be in Poland. If I drove, it's crazy.
That's one thing I will miss about Philadelphia is, I live in like the city, so I will miss the convenience of, say, for example, going out to get like drinks or something, not even having to think about how I'm going to get home, because most likely, and especially since it's me, I'm usually going to places in my area, so I can just walk home. Right. Or Ubers are way cheaper because it's no longer than like the farthest I would go would probably be like a 20-minute drive. And I will, I was thinking about that when I was visiting Michigan last weekend, or 2 weeks ago, whenever that was, just about, I mentioned to you seeing that lady that was driving home hammered.
Oh, geez, yeah.
And it was like I'm not sticking up for her, but it's just like, people drive to these places wanting to have a good time, but it's like you have to drive to these places because if you there's no public transportation to get there, and then it's like these people still want to have fun or whatever that means to them, but then they put themselves in these terrible situations
and other people as well. But
yeah, that's more importantly other people that are innocent bystanders. And I was thinking I was like, that will really factor into how I live my life. Not that I'm out getting drunk all the time, but if I wanted to, I'd have to take away more consideration than it does here.
Yeah, you got a budget for that extra Uber. You got
Sorry, you're distracting me.
Yeah, I got a couple skeeters flying around here, a couple mosquitoes. It is so hot here, dude. It is unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal this past week.
Speaking of which, that's another thing that your Czech people find weird about the U.S. is the overusage of AC. And now they do have a point.
Yeah,
we do really blast that AC like it's going out of style. Like we love AC here.
Too much. And
I'm kind of a cheapskate with my AC, where I only put it on really when I'm sleeping. Now, sometimes during the day, if it's like, because it gets really hot here, so sometimes during the day I'll put it on, but it's really only when I'm sleeping that I put it on, and then I usually turn it off when I wake up. But yeah, like if you go to restaurants, movie theaters, grocery stores, like sometimes, like I know people, like cousins or people in my family or something, that'll like, we'll be in, say, Louisiana. And in Louisiana, it'll be like, I don't know, 98, something crazy like that. And we'll go to the movie theater, and they'll have to bring like a hoodie or a jacket because it'll be so cold in there. Right. And like we just pump the AC. And so like I'm not like your students. You're not even the students, but just the Czech people that there in Czech Republic. I don't think it's killing us. But I do think we do really overuse the AC.
Yeah, and the one thing I really dislike about that, like you said, in the summer, I have to really think about, okay, am I going to be spending more time outside or inside? Because if I'm going outside, I'm going to wear shorts and a t-shirt.
Right.
But if I know I'm going to be in a bar or I'm going to be inside most of the night, tossing on some jeans, maybe even a light button down, instead of a t-shirt. And it can get irritating at times. If you're unprepared, especially to all of our listeners out there who've never visited the States, yeah, you might need to bring a jacket or a hoodie or something with you, a light jacket or a thinner hoodie with you.
80 plus outside.
Right, if you go somewhere inside, which can be very irritating.
But I'll tell you this, though.
Go ahead.
Okay, I've lived in Germany before, another place where they really don't have AC. And, yeah, we overuse AC here, but I've also lived through many summers that probably weren't even anywhere close to as hot as what you're experiencing right now. And it was awful. Like,
it's horrendous.
It was so hard to sleep.
Yep.
There's no escaping it. Like, it's awful. And so, like, if I had to choose one, I'd choose overuse of AC over no AC at all.
Oh, for sure.
So even though a lot of people outside of the U.S. might find it weird, I'm on board. I just want to make that clear.
Right. What I also find funny is that I've heard a lot of Europeans say, oh, if you use AC, you'll get sick. Oh, you have a cold because you're using AC. It's like no. Like, I have lived in the States for 25 of my 27 years and rarely get sick anyways, but like I really don't think AC would be the cause of it. I really don't. Now, obviously, I'm not a certified, physician. I'm not a medical doctor, but I personally don't think that I've ever caught an illness or become sick because of AC.
Now, this is just conjecture. I don't know really what the hell I'm talking about. But I don't think it's AC that makes people sick. But I would say maybe not a proper. And this actually reminds me. But I think it's not a proper maintenance of your air conditioning makes you sick. So
that's true.
If you're not changing filters, like all air conditioning units have filters. Yep. And my parents actually told me that I should change mine every 3 months. And they probably told me that 2 years ago when I moved here, and I probably changed it once. So maybe I'll do that.
They're going to change that real quick. Mama's listening.
I keep forgetting that. But that is, I'd say maybe not a proper maintenance of it will make you sick. But in general, that's on the people that own the air conditioning. That's not on the air conditioning system or the very idea of air conditioning. So back off.
Right. So, Jared, I want to just go through this quick list, and I want to get the Jared weird or not weird approval. Weird, obviously, meaning, it's strange. Not weird, you're cool with it. So are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to kind of go through this list. The fact that we cheer on our cheerleaders at sporting events. Weird or not weird?
The fact that we cheer on our cheerleaders at sporting events. Not weird.
Okay.
They're just an extension. They're kind of just like super fans hired by the team.
But why are we cheering on the super fans? Shouldn't we just be cheering on the team?
I would argue that they're still doing like pretty acrobatic stuff. It's pretty impressive stuff that they do.
Okay. So
and
are
so I
they
think
maybe more like
cheering at the stunts.
Okay, that's fair. Okay. I was also thinking maybe they're kind of like that. What is it? What's the term? Is it sixth man?
Oh, you like if you're talking about basketball, then yeah.
Yeah, like that extra person on the court giving you that oomph. All right, Jared. I'll say this though, I can imagine people in other countries saying that because, like, if you were to go to a soccer game in literally any country besides for the U.S., they definitely don't need cheerleaders to get hype AF. Right, which I don't get that. Good. Okay, weird or not weird? The fact that we fly U.S. flags everywhere.
Yeah, that's weird.
Weird. Okay.
I'd say that's weird. I'd say we have a very unhealthy obsession with the United States and like a weird relationship with nationalism that I don't really understand.
Yeah, especially pride in the military. As well. Definitely. I have nothing personal against the military. My father has served. My uncles have served. But like, I feel like you can't even be critical of the U.S. military without people immediately like being like, "Oh, you're not patriotic," you're blah blah blah. So yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I saw some picture on Twitter yesterday, and it was one of those classic. Some guy had like a patch on his jacket that said like, "I shouldn't be expected to speak foreign language for illegal immigrants in my country."
Oh,
and
God.
it's like, first of all, no one's expecting you to do that. It's like they'd actually probably much prefer if you just leave them alone.
Right.
And second of all, what do you mean your country? And third of all, like, there's not even a third. I just don't understand like this sort of like who's forcing you to speak anything. Like no one's forcing you to do this.
Right. Yeah. That's an odd one. That's a real odd one. Weird or not weird? The fact that most Americans rarely take vacation.
I mean, it's not weird because I understand our culture, but I understand why other people would find it weird. But I wouldn't say it's weird because I'd say this is something that we've set up for ourselves, essentially. Like, this is, we have, like any other country, we have values that are different than other countries, and ours is work. So people might find it weird how obsessed we are with work, but then people might also find it weird how obsessed other people are with vacation. I don't know.
Yeah, sure. Weird or not weird? The fact that most Americans drink from red Solo cups at parties.
It's not weird. I don't just imagine if you're having a party, like a big party, I don't want to clean up all those glasses. And I don't trust all these drunks that are my friends to not break all my nice china.
That's fair.
I have a question though. It's been a while since I've been to a party, especially a house party of any substantial size in Europe. Probably a while so long meaning never. What do they use? Just glasses?
Depends on how big the party is.
Right.
I mean, if it's a really big party, they'll actually usually have plastic cups and a keg maybe, or at least the ones I've been to in Germany, they buy a case or 2 cases of beer. And you just open the bottle and drink from the glass bottle.
Right.
So it really depends where.
There's also less usage of like cans of beer, really. Like they do it, but it's not as big of a thing in Europe.
Right. You're not going to buy cases. If you buy a case here in the Czech Republic, it's going to be glass bottles.
Right.
The cans will usually be 6-pack, and
because it's a bottle, people are probably also going to be a little more careful not to drop it because it's like it's not. You can't just get another. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I understand why. Like I don't think it's weird, but it's definitely wasteful. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and to me, it's very American. Red Solo cups.
Yeah,
Remind me.
Red Solo Cup. What's that song?
Red Solo cup.
Oh, is that what it's called?
Yeah. The fact that pharmacies are in grocery stores. Weird or not weird?
I don't think any of this is weird so far.
I mean, you are American.
That's true. I mean, I live with this.
I find it strange. I find it strange that we do have pharmacies in grocery stores.
Why do you find it strange? You've worked in a pharmacy.
And maybe that's why, because I worked at a pharmacy. And I don't know. On the one hand, I understand it's really nice having the convenience to pick up your allergy meds, your antihistamines while you're getting your milk or whatever. But I don't know. I just, after living here for a while now, I kind of like that, I get my groceries at the grocery store. If I need to get my medication for something, I go here. But it is not as convenient, I guess.
Right.
But maybe that's how it changed.
I don't see anything. It does play very much into Americans need ultimate convenience kind of thing. But
right.
I don't see anything inherently wrong with it. It's not something that makes me want to blame Big Pharma for ruining our country kind of thing.
Right. Sure. But I will say this. I do find it hilarious that you can, in theory, if you have a pharmacy at a grocery store, you can buy alcohol, you can buy cigarettes, you can buy all this stuff that's really bad for you, and also buy medicine, which is kind of interesting.
Depends on the state, but that's true. You can't do that here. But in Michigan, last time I was in Michigan, I was telling Sydney about that, where it's we don't have these archaic rules here in Michigan. You can literally buy alcohol anywhere, gas stations, blah, 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 anywhere. Am I boring you? No, I'm kidding.
You are. No. The other thing that I find strange, though, too, speaking of pharmaceuticals, is the fact I think we are one of maybe 2 or 3 nations in the entire world that has commercials on television.
Now that's strange.
For pharmaceutical drugs. Tell your doctor about Coumadin for blah blah blah. It's.
I think that's dangerous.
I do too, because I think you are making people think. To reference your untranslatable, people who already have a cold in their head are going to maybe think, thank you.
Actually, that's not the untranslatable. That means someone's crazy. Not.
But no, that's what I mean.
I see what you're saying.
If you're crazy, you might think oh well, actually, yeah, my elbow has been hurting. Maybe I need to try the new elbow-itis cream from blah blah blah. And it's just really crazy. All the different pharmaceutical drugs that are advertised on television, where it's why don't you just let your medical professionals tell you, oh, hey, you have this medical issue. Maybe you should think of taking this medicine for it. This medication.
With that, doctors get incentivized to push certain brands of medication too.
Pharmacists also do.
Very dangerous as well.
Mm-hmm. I remember a pharmacist telling me one time at where I used to work, she told me that back in the day, she'd been a pharmacist for a long time. Mm-hmm. She told me way back in the day, pharmaceutical companies would take you out, to nice dinners, a little resort weekend, go golfing, all these little perks to try to get you to also push their medication. And yeah, I mean, big pharma is one of the biggest industries in the States. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy that, it's just crazy. And the other crazy thing, also piggybacking on the advertisements, the price of medication in the U.S. is unreal. I've heard stories of people in Michigan who live close enough to Windsor, Canada, that will go get their insulin and other things in Canada.
Oh, I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean that definitely makes sense. I wouldn't blame people for doing that.
Now, I don't know the steps for doing that, but I have heard stories of people doing that. And yeah, that's just such a shame. I mean, people also do that from California, go down to Mexico and get pharmaceuticals there as well. So yeah.
Now, can I give you a strange or not strange?
Sure.
The added taxes at stores. So the price you see is not the price you pay.
Stupid. It's strange. It's
Why
stupid.
do we
I hate
do
it.
that?
It's
Why do we
stupid.
do that?
I'll tell you why, Jared. So we can sell more stuff.
Oh, so is
Because-
it like looks cheaper that way?
Yeah. That's why they sell things for 99 cents instead of $1.
I
Think
knew
about it.
that. Like that's some psychological thing.
Well, it's the same thing though, because I mean, look, if they sold it at $1, what would it be? $1.06? If it's 99 cents, $1.05,
Yeah.
somewhere around there.
Well,
right?
it varies, but yeah, in Michigan it's
very
6%.
Yeah. Okay. So if I see a candy bar for $1.06, maybe I'm like, I don't know, but I see this one for 99 cents. I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna buy this one. And then of course they scan it, and it's like, all right, $1.06, and you're like, well, all right, and you pay
It's
for
just
it.
so annoying to me because if you have cash, unless you're some sort of genius,
Right.
it's like you can't you'll never you won't just be able to figure out how much you actually are going to be paying. I
definitely
cannot
not.
stand it. Oh my god, that
It's
is
super
strange to me.
irritating.
And I mean,
Yeah.
I get it now that you bring that up. It makes perfect sense, but it's so annoying. It is so
It's
annoying.
it's really strange. And at the same time, it's like, okay, why don't you just adjust your prices so it costs 99 cents?
All right, let's not get crazy.
Fair enough. All right, Jared, weird or not weird? Free refills.
Not weird. Well, no, it's not weird. Because, well, it actually is kind of weird. I'd say it is weird.
Okay, why is that?
Well, I keep going back and forth on this one. Well, one, we use more machines than they use in other countries. A lot of other countries, the reason they don't use free refills is because you're usually getting a bottle of something.
Right.
And I guess I understand why they do the free refills, just because like the margin is so high on drinks, and like they're so cheap. Like those machines, all they are is sparkling or like carbonated water, and then like a burst of sugar and coloring essentially. And so like to charge say $3 or maybe to say $2 for a cup somewhere. And in order to get your money's worth out of that cup, you'd have to have like 10, 11, 12 refills of it to actually get like $2 worth of it.
And get diabetes a couple days later too.
And then the big pharma wins again.
Right. Well, I think the other thing with free refills too, I mean, yeah, we're joking, but like, I think that's one of many reasons why we do have such a weight problem in the States.
Oh, for sure.
Is, you can get, and that's the thing is, I think this isn't even an American thing. I think it's a people thing that people like to get the best bang for their buck. They want to get what they pay for, get good value. And so yeah, of course, if you can have free refills, you paid $2, $3, $4, however much money for your drink, for your pop, as we say in Michigan. For all you other people, it would be soda.
You betcha.
So weird to say that.
Or Coke if you're in the South, no matter what it is.
That is true. That is true. We'll use the region neutral term and say soft drink. So
There
if you're
you
having
go.
a soft drink,
A carbonated beverage.
right, then I mean, it would be what? You would need at least 4, 5, 6 cups of it to really.
I mean, it would take a lot. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the actual amount, but it would take a lot because it's literally just water and a tiny bit of sugar.
but that and
tiny.
it's
Tiny bit of
it's
sugar.
so unhealthy.
According to the company, not to
Right.
your body. Let's
Right,
be clear.
right. Yeah.
When I go to every now and again after piano lessons, I'll go to Qdoba for lunch,
Love Qdoba.
and they have one of those like everything machines where it's just like a screen and you could literally make any sort
those
of
are
combination
cool.
of beverage.
Those are cool.
And those seem like something that's also uniquely American. But my American self, whenever I go there, I always fill up while I'm eating, and then right before I leave, I'll fill up again and take it on the road with me.
Everybody does
in the
that
car.
in the States.
And I do it because one, it's like, well, once again, I'm trying to get as much as my money's worth as I can out of this cup. But then also, that just speaks to just like our excess, where it's like if I were in any other country and I were going to piano lessons and went to lunch after and got a soda, I would be more than okay just walking out of this place when I'm done.
Yep. Yeah. So the next one, kind of related to this, is 24-hour restaurants. Weird,
Yes.
not weird.
I'd say it's weird.
And why?
I love it like for example, when I was in Michigan, I was telling you how I went to Coney Island, and most Coney Islands in Michigan are 24 hours, and it's a great convenience if you're, I don't even know why. I don't know if you're a drunkard or if you're driving from Philadelphia to Michigan starting at 3 p.m, then that's where it's convenient. But I don't like. The reasons, the times when it comes in handy are so limited, where it's like, it just seems like it just speaks to one, excess once again. Like we always need full meals, and then also it speaks to like our work ethic, and not even in a good way, but it speaks to just like how, if those places are open 24 hours, it requires someone to be working there at 2 a.m, 3 a.m, 4 a.m.
Do they even make a profit, these places, you think?
Yeah, I don't understand that. I don't understand how places could be making a profit at all hours of the night, like having just a handful of people in big restaurants.
Well, I guess they can make a profit because they don't pay their waitstaff anything.
That's a good point.
That's a good point. On tips.
Really,
leads me to
great point.
Tips. Weird or not weird?
Weird. For sure weird, because people hold them over people's heads. People like hold wait staff as hostage, and people are like, "Oh, if like it's like, oh, I would have given you this, but I asked
didn't sprint when my food, came out of the kitchen." Yeah,
I was once again when I was in Michigan. All this stuff goes back to when I was in Michigan. We went to a restaurant, and the waitress was, I guess, to an American standard, she might have been a little slow, but like I was fine with it. I was in no rush, and I was enjoying myself. But after when she left the check, she's like, "I'm sorry for the service. It was a little hectic, and blah blah blah." And I was like, "It was totally fine." Like I noticed that you thought it was slow, but we were fine. Like I was not. We're not in that kind of rush, and we don't expect it to be jogging back and forth for us because I kind of grew up in Germany. Like I much prefer that style of service. I don't like to be rushed out of restaurants. I like to hang out there. I like to, and so like I was totally fine with it. I had no problem with it. And she was probably like legitimately concerned that like, oh, these people are gonna like shorten me on the tip because I was slow. And I gave her a normal tip because I was like, first of all, I don't think you were slow, and second of all, that's not. I'm not one to like. You were still a good server. I'm not gonna. I don't like holding people hostage with my tip.
Right, for sure. And to be honest, I probably overtip here in the Czech Republic most of the time.
Probably,
but
I overtip here in the U.S. sometimes.
It is what it is. Which leads me to my next one, though, Jared. Over attentive servers. Weird or not weird?
It goes along with the tipping thing, and I would say it's weird. But I'd say overly attentive is the nice way of putting. They're just trying to get you out of the restaurant,
right?
Because they
trying to make that money, get this bread.
Wait staff in America they make their money on turnover and getting as many new people into the tables as possible because obviously that means more tips.
Yep.
And so I'd say it's weird because it sort of it's weird because like I don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg, but we've come to believe that good service is fast service here.
Right.
Like everything's got to be fast. And in Europe, it's like good, like that's bad service. Like
For
people
sure.
will get offended if like, what? Why are you trying to push me out of here?
Exactly.
And I think it's weird that we find. Like that we find it to be beneficial to have a server that's quick, bringing you out your food. As soon as you're done with one thing, the next one's right behind it.
Yeah.
I find that so weird that like you enjoy this? Don't you want to enjoy the people you're sitting with? Or it's like
right. Yeah, have a good conversation.
If you're in a hurry, I feel like I've been in hurries in Europe, and if you just tell them that, then they'll be like, okay, we'll be quicker.
Yeah.
But that's not their default way of doing services.
Exactly. And they're paid a good wage in Europe, and they're not based on tips.
Mm-hmm.
I got to be honest. I'm looking forward to the tasty food that awaits in the States, but I'm not looking forward to the rushed service. Which, I understand why, but it doesn't make for the best dining atmosphere. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. If I take any ladies on dates, I'm going to be selective which restaurant because I want to have a nice conversation and not be rushed. That's for sure. So next thing, though, is the sheer size of selection in supermarkets and grocery stores. Weird or not weird?
I don't think it's weird. I think that's what capitalism is.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
it's just companies trying to. I don't think it's weird, and no, I don't think that's weird at all. I think, and I like selection. I like having options.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think it's weird.
Okay. Next one. Wear pajamas in public or
Yeah, that's
sweatpants.
That's
weird.
weird.
Yep.
I was telling you and David last episode about going to a bar and seeing a guy in gym shorts. And I'm like, really, bro? And actually, when I was in Michigan, once again, Sydney and I saw this lady riding her bicycle through the city with like slippers on.
Oh, that makes no sense. That's crazy. That's so funny. So, Jared, smiling at strangers, weird or not weird?
I don't think it's weird. I really don't. I don't really like it just because that's not my personality. Mm-hmm. But I think there is something to, like, at least trying to be polite or even fake polite to the people around you. I don't.
Sure.
Even though I don't embrace it, I don't have a problem with it in practice.
The worst, though, is just that awkward kind of half smile you give somebody when you make eye contact. Just that kind of like, yeah, it's... Jared's doing a great one right now. I got to say, though, man, the first few weeks I was here, I was smiling at everybody. And I got some weird looks in return. So now I only smile at cute dogs and cute little ladies. Children because they're usually waving and smiling anyways. So I feel like that's not as weird. But yeah, that's
actually a weird thing too. I don't know if they do that. I doubt they do that in Europe. But just like seeing like strangers like interact with strangers' babies.
Right.
You've seen? You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Yeah, for sure. I
find that so weird.
Yeah, I don't think they do that here. Also, in the States, people's dogs, I have to say, for the most part, are usually not as well trained.
For sure.
So their dogs will come up to you, right? And in the States, like, I mean, I always ask anyways, can I pet, your dog when they come up to me? But like in the Czech Republic, it's crazy because the dogs really only listen to their owners. They don't really give a crap about other people for the most part. Mm-hmm. So like they don't even come up to you to be petted.
And dogs here don't listen to anyone. Dude, no. I'm not trying to bring up old stuff, but my neighbor's dog is a goddamn savage.
Again, did something else happen?
No, but it's just like, that's not weird though, is what I'm getting at. To have like I've seen in public, well, I mean, it's weird for it to be so bad that it cuts you and leaves a permanent scar that's still on my arm over a year later. But it's not weird. It's annoying, but it's not totally out of the ordinary to watch like a dog jump on a stranger, and then the owner of the dog, 10 feet away, be like, Sparky, no, knowing damn well your damn dog doesn't listen to you.
Right.
It's so annoying. It was so funny the other day. So in front of my like apartment complex, there was like this little like dog like a area for like the dogs to run around and poo and stuff. It's a small area, but like it's a little fenced-in area. And there was a guy walking past it as one of my neighbor's dogs was in it. And the guy was like saying to his dog, which was this big like Rottweiler, and the Rottweiler was like walking along the fence next to the guy, like barking at him and jumping up on the fence. And the guy, the owner of the dog, was sitting down on the little bench there, like, Tiberius, no, stop. And I was like, bro, your dog doesn't listen to you. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
And it's like, you know what? Weird or not weird, how little control Americans have of their dogs.
Yeah, it's not good.
I've been in Europe.
My parents' dog, like
I do.
Your favorite. I think she knows too that you don't like dogs, and so she purposefully.
It's not that I don't like dogs. It's just that I don't get as excited around them as other people do. It's not even that I don't like dogs.
I think she's trying to make you become a fan.
But like I've been in when I lived in Germany, it would not be weird to see someone walking with their dog in the heart of the city, no leash, barely even paying attention to the thing.
They'd stop when the owner would stop.
Yeah, and I've seen owners like not even really pay attention to the dog, just like have conversations with someone and the dog's behind them, but like not messing with anyone and just walking along. And it was like, I don't have faith in any dog here in the U.S. to be like that.
Right. It's rare. It's definitely rare.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Yeah. Good. Okay. So weird or not
Man,
weird,
that
Jared?
one really set me off.
Right. Weird or not weird, the fact that in the States we give away our credit cards. What I mean by this is if you go to a restaurant, you put it in the little bill thing, they take your credit card, blah, blah, blah. In Europe, at least, I've never done that. It's always they come up to the table with the machine.
Right.
You put the card never leaves your side. In the U.S., though, we give the card to all sorts of strangers in the service industry without much of a second thought. Weird or not weird?
It's not weird. I don't find it weird. Honestly, I don't even really like when people come up to me with the machine. Those machines are slow. They're always slow. I much rather. I don't find it weird at all. I've been to many restaurants with many people paying, and I've heard very few stories of some identity theft happening or credit card theft happening. And I think that's one thing that actually sort of adds to the one of the few things that we do here in America that adds to the quality of service is that they just bring us the receipt and they don't, and I'm not, maybe because nothing's bad's happened to me or my credit card like that, I don't get concerned with it. Do you get concerned with? Do you find it weird?
I mean, I like that it doesn't leave my side in Europe, but I mean, I've been Americanized. I've done it for so many years that it doesn't really.
And nothing's happened to you.
No.
I assume.
Nope. So
maybe if I heard more stories about stuff happening,
right.
I'd be like, I'd get a little more concerned. But
right.
I like it. I think
in theory, though, it probably wouldn't be difficult to be a credit card scammer if you worked in the service industry.
Yeah.
In theory.
Yeah, for sure. But I feel like at least the way I feel like it would be. Yeah, I guess you're right. But I feel like the restaurants would figure out that that's happening, and the owners would try to put a stop to it.
Right. I got three more for you, Jared.
Okay, bring it.
So, weird or not weird, the fact that we card people who are clearly above the drinking age of 21. Weird or not weird?
Yeah, I find that weird.
Okay,
it's
me too.
interesting too because it varies so much. Here in Philadelphia, I never get carded anywhere unless I'm going into like one of those crowded places that has like a bouncer at the door. Mm-hmm. But if I'm just going to a normal bar or even like a liquor store to buy alcohol, I never get carded.
Right.
And then when I was in Michigan, I got carded, and I was saying to Sydney, I was like, "Oh, it's weird. I never get carded." And the woman's like, "Oh, you should be lucky." She's like, "I'm 35, and I love when people card me." And I wasn't even saying it like that, like, "Oh, I feel so young or so old or whatever."
Right.
It was just more like it just never happens.
Right. Just stating the facts.
But yeah, I mean, there are at like grocery stores and stuff. There are signs that say like, if you're, we have to card anyone that is like
grandma, we have to card you.
Right. They say like 40, like you have to look 40 or more or whatever, and that's sort of the limit. Yeah, I think it's weird, but I mean, better to. I
safe
think
than sorry.
It's just like sticking to like once you start sort of making that call, it just puts more risk on the place selling the alcohol.
Sure.
So I get it.
Yeah.
But it is kind of weird, or it's like, someone with gray hair with kids. It's like, really? How old do you think I am?
Exactly. Weird or not weird, Jared?
Sorry, there is also stories of like kids where it's like, oh yeah, no, I wasn't like this because I didn't really have friends like that in high school. But there were always like stories like that where it was like, there was the kid, like the friend in high school that would buy all the booze because they grew facial hair the youngest.
Right.
And in that sense, I kind of get it.
I mean, I had a buddy from Germany that had his German ID card that didn't have his birth date on it. He looked older. This was when I was a senior in high school. We could go to a couple places in Ann Arbor, and he'd have no problem whatsoever. Yeah. All right, next one. Weird or not weird? Going into debt in order to go to college. Weird or not weird?
Yeah, that's super weird.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah, for sure.
It's ridiculous. We're one of the few countries out there.
We know it's possible not like that. There's a system set up. There are systems out there where that's not necessary.
Oh, for sure. And my last one. Weird or not weird that we refer to ourselves as America, even though we are the United States of America. And America itself is a huge continent that covers South America, Central America, and North America.
I find it odd that we call it America, but if we go back to that whole Americans conversation, I don't find that weird because I would like someone to give us a recommendation on what we should be calling ourselves because those people are calling us Americans too. So I don't find that weird, but I do find it weird that we just call it America like that's the United States, but not Americans.
Right.
Give us something better, and maybe if I like it,
we'll use it.
I'll consider it. But you guys are calling us Americans too, so
exactly. And the last one actually that is clear, in my opinion, that's weird, is our measurement system. The imperial system is terrible. It's inefficient. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't... Yeah, it's just some sort of weird defiance thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so I watch Formula One, and Lewis Hamilton is almost always in first place, and he's British. Did you know that the British national anthem uses the exact same melody as the American one?
No way.
Yeah. Like, not the same words, but like the, can't, like the,
Really?
Yeah, I was listening to it, and like the first couple times I started watching Formula One, I was like, why are they playing the American national anthem right now? Like, they're in this country. He's from England. Then I looked it up, and the British one, I think it has different words, but it's the exact same melody.
You better believe immediately after we're done recording, that's the first thing I'm going to do is listen to that.
Okay.
I'm intrigued.
Well, I just watched Formula One the other day, and Lewis Hamilton won again, and Cindy and I were singing along the English words to or the American words, excuse me, the United Statesian words.
Right? Oh man, that's
and
so
it's like for a country that's so proud of being, so proud of breaking away from England, it's so odd that our national anthem is based off the exact same melody as theirs.
Right. That's crazy. That is crazy. Well, Jared, do you have anything else that is weird about the USA that you need to share?
I found one that I wholeheartedly agree with, and I didn't even think of until I saw this. The gaps between the doors in public restrooms.
Oh, that's stupid. Yeah,
Dude,
that's really stupid.
There's sometimes at work I get uncomfortable. Well, I guess it hasn't been an issue for a while, but sometimes at work I used to get uncomfortable going to the bathroom there because it's like if we could wave at each other in between these gaps.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
It makes me very uncomfortable, and I don't like it. But no, you really hit a lot of the major ones, so I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. No, I'm good.
All right. Well, let's move on to something that is very amazing, which is the song of the pod for today.
You betcha.
Which is La Dama Poro Maracatu.
Mm-hmm.
And you picked this one this week, so I'd love to hear the story behind it and everything else.
Well, I'm trying to learn Spanish. And so she had it's a group of 4 people. They had a Tiny Desk concert that I started watching. I didn't finish it because we had to record. But I liked the vibe of it. This song specifically is almost kind of like a dancey hip. Most are. They're from. Oh, by the way, there are 4 members in their group. One's from Brazil. One's from Colombia. One's from Venezuela. And one from the U.S. And
cool.
This song is in Portuguese, or I think it's in Spanish. It's in Spanish, but the title's Portuguese.
Okay.
And the title is Poro Maracatu. And maracatu is an ancient carnival tradition from the northeast of Brazil. Maracatu has its roots in the sugar fazendas and slave estates of Pernambuco state, where black African slaves form religious brotherhoods to preserve African culture and heritage. So it's just a shout out to you guys kind of song. And I like the sort of rappiness to it. It's not rapping. Let's get a little carried away.
It kind of is.
All right, I'll say it. Sure, it is. I like the rappiness of it, but also I love that but so many Latin American songs and music just has that. Is just like you can just hear like it's the dance vibe deep in there.
Sure.
Like just sticking to the dance, and I love that. And I love the instrumentation. There's a lot of percussion in there, which is great. And I just like that like it's one of those songs that gets you up and moving. And I like that I even recognize some words. Not to brag.
I was a big fan of the accordion.
Yes. Yeah, played by one of the members, I think.
Yep. And then the one girl playing the drums in the street was pretty cool as well. I like that scene in the video as well. Yeah, it's a great song. Definitely is one where if your day's dragging, put this on and you'll definitely be in a better mood for sure.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I liked it a lot. And I haven't really made this effort, but especially since I might be driving back to Michigan this weekend, I would like to make an effort to find more music in Spanish that I can sing along to and help pump up my Spanish more.
Right. Yeah. Maybe in the future, too, let me know those songs and we can make a Spanish song list on the YouTube channel.
Okay.
That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, I should do that.
I would be totally down for that because I love, as we've said hundreds and hundreds of times on this podcast, music in Spanish just sounds so awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
It is amazing. So check that out.
I agree.
On our Twitter, Untranslatable One, and our YouTube channel as well. And we hope you enjoy. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yep.
Well, Jared, now it is time for our check word of the pod.
Výborný.
Which is, one second, got a skeeter here. Had a skeeter here. Okay. My word is zvláštní. Any ideas what that means?
Weird.
Weird, particular, strange, odd. Exactly.
Okay. Okay. Zvláštní. My Spanish word. I have not watched another movie since, but I might have one for next time. We'll see.
Nice.
Extraño.
I don't know that one.
Similar to
strange.
Yeah, strange. Unusual.
Yeah, unusual. Okay. Nice. Another check word that's kind of a cognate.
Or extraña, depending on what you're talking about.
Sure. An interesting Czech cognate is bizarní.
Oh, is that bizarre?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's so weird the words that like overlap. How did that one? How is it that one?
It all stems back to language roots, my friend. That's what it really is.
Yeah.
But now it's time for a couple puns, Jared. So I'm going to give you some U.S. puns. So, which American president was least guilty?
None of them.
Lincoln, because he was innocent.
Oh.
Because he's on the penny, which is 1 cent.
I was going to say, who is it? Gerald Ford or something? Who's the one? No, maybe it was like Van Buren. One of them got like shot like a couple months into presidency.
I think that might have been Van Buren, yeah.
Yeah,
so,
I'd say him because he never.
Why is it a bad idea to hunt a bald eagle?
Because they'll kill you.
Well, maybe, but also because it's illegal.
I like that.
You like that one? You like that one? Okay. So, Jared, where can you get the flyest haircut in the United States?
I have no idea.
If you go to the barber shop, the American Hair Force. There you go. I'll end it with that one today. I'll end it with that one. So, we have discussed not all of, but many.
Every single one.
Every single one. There are no other weird or strange things about the United States. We've covered it all. You heard it here first. Untranslatable Podcast.
Your one-stop shop.
That's right. That's right. We are true advocates of convenience is king, and we're hoping to make this very convenient for you. But I will say this. Although there are a lot of weird things about the USA, and most of them could be some way related to convenience, I will say that I think a lot of the weird things about the USA is also what makes it such a special place.
Yeah, I'd agree with that because a lot of the stuff we mentioned is not only weird in, say, one country or one part of the world, but I'd say a lot of the world finds a lot of those things we mentioned, maybe not the gaps in between doors, but in the bathroom, but a lot of those things, a lot of other countries find weird that we do, but we love it, or it's loved.
Exactly. Use that passive. I love it, Jared. All right, well, we hope you've enjoyed this episode and you've learned something either weird or not weird about the USA. Whatever is your cup of tea.
Quirky.
That is true. I'm surprised you just dropped that one. That one should have been
forgot about it.
all throughout the episode. But yeah, so we hope you've enjoyed this episode and learned a few new weird things about the USA. We would love to hear some things you find weird about the USA or even your home country at untranslatablepodcast@gmail.com. It would be great to hear what you all find weird out there. Because, we all have different tastes, different opinions, and we love to hear all of those. So let us know. Also, check out our Song of the Pod on Twitter, Untranslatable1, or our YouTube channel, Untranslatable Podcast. And check out the website for many of Jared's amazing untranslatables. Spreading the love and spreading them all over the world through the interwebs. And lastly, please, 5-star reviews. Although text messages are nice and encouraging, we would love nothing more than 5-star reviews on iTunes or Stitcher.
Love.
So, as we say here at the Untranslatable Podcast, Děkujeme a muchas gracias.